Elon, good morning.
Good morning, Carl. President Biden is nominating Jerome Powell to a second term as chairman of the Federal Reserve. In addition, Biden is also naming Lael Brainard to serve in the number 2 position as vice chair. Now, the White House credited decisive action by Powell and the central bank in the midst of the pandemic as critical to the economy's rapid recovery. In a statement, President Biden said, "I have full confidence after their trial by fire over the last 20 months that Chair Powell and Dr. Brainard will provide the strong leadership our country needs." Now, the White House also pointed to their joint focus on inclusive growth, financial stability, and climate change, and said that the administration has full confidence in their experience, judgment, and integrity. Now, both Powell and Brainard will need to be confirmed by the Senate. Already, at least 3 Democrats have come out against Powell, Senators Elizabeth Warren, Sheldon Whitehouse, and Jeff Merkley. But remember, Powell is a Republican and will likely draw bipartisan support. There are also still 3 vacant seats on the Board of Governors. Notably, Brainard was not named as vice chair of supervision. The White House said it would announce those nominations starting early next month and is committed to improving diversity at the board. But for the chairman of the Fed, the White House is opting for continuity, signaling it is satisfied with the economy's progress so far, naming Jay Powell to a second term leading the central bank and handing the vice chair position to Lael Brainard. Guys, back to you.
Elon, obviously big news, and we're going to talk about the market reaction all day long. We are expecting to hear from the president tomorrow to talk about inflation. Might we expect some further color on this decision then?
You know, one thing that this administration has struggled to confront is how to talk about and how to message these rising prices. They are trying to show that they are concerned about inflation. They are trying to show that they are working to bring prices down, but also trying to say that a lot of this is out of their hands. And of course, as we know here at CNBC, a lot of the trajectory of inflation will depend on the actions of the Federal Reserve. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes up during that speech tomorrow, but we will have to wait and see.
That's our Elon Moy in Washington. Elon, thank you very much. Jim, does the market like policy continuity?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, there's no doubt about it that Chairman Powell is directly related to how well the market's done. People think he's done a very solid job. And I'll tell you, it's also a vote for the idea that it is transitory, that inflation is not here to stay. Now, Jay Powell has been adamant that we're going to get all of these port issues, congestion solved. He's also been adamant, by the way, oil. Have you noticed oil, David, doesn't go up anymore?
Yeah, I did notice it stopped going up a bit.
Right. So, I mean, you know, if everything's... Yeah, I heard we had a report earlier about Thanksgiving being up 14%. Well, you know, the average wage of the workers going up, the taxes aren't so bad for workers. So I come back and say, this is a guy who uniquely turns out to be a Republican who's very much of a Democrat, which is kind of a nice mix for the country.
But inflation is no doubt causing issues for the president, his approval ratings where they are right now. And you and I have been having the transitory debate for a year and a half now.
Well, I mean, no one said transitory means short.
Yeah, kind of. I think it was summer of 2020 is when we started to really discuss it in earnest.
Well, I mean, you know,
and
prices,
here we are.
Working people are doing better.
They are. They are. Wages going up, but unfortunately their buying power is no better because costs have gone up.
I come back to the idea that COVID is just this hidden tax on the system. It's now become a tax. And I think that this is a very seasonally strong period. I think that we will, a lot of people, the Dow's been down. Everybody has been fearful of anything COVID. And yet here we are, you know, we have Phil LeBeau at an airport. And, you know, I think it's going to turn out to be a lot better than November of 2019. People want to go places. I mean, take a look. There's a company that came public not that long ago called Rent the Runway. And there are 6 pieces that are positive on it. Now, why are they positive on it? People are going out. People are doing things. So the news says that people are not doing anything. And what I think is so funny, Carl, is people, they're not going to work because they're afraid of COVID. They're just going out.
We're going to talk about some of the human behavior in a little bit. Let's get some more analysis on the Powell decision from Steve Leisman this morning. Steve, good morning.
Morning, Carl. I'm looking at markets today, and I'm seeing, in the reaction to the Powell announcement, I'm seeing some Brainard trade come out of the market right now. You have stocks quite a bit higher, at least on the futures, 175 on the Dow was around 100. I'm seeing the 2-year yield higher, the probability of a rate hike in May a little bit higher. I'm seeing the dollar stronger against the euro, though not across the board in the DXY. So there was a trade in there that perhaps it could have been Brainard. I'm struck by, when I look at the press release, Carl, how much the president has introduced the two as a tandem together as we're doing this with Powell in front and Brainard as vice chair. I think he's obviously finessing the political aspects of this. One other thing that struck me is the fact that President Biden now has broken what could have been a trend, which was the idea that the president would step forward and no matter what the performance of the the chair of the Fed would pick his own person. So I like the idea that that's been broken and now kind of reaffirming the apolitical nature of this appointment and the idea that the president is going here for bipartisan support and really, I believe, shunned the progressive wing of his party that had been lobbying for Brainard. Carl?